Episode 52, Brothers. The scent of smoke and flame filling his nostrils. The sound of the propellers of Bowser's airship fleet whirring in his ears. The roar of the Bullet Bill's engines rocketing through the air, fire glinting off their shiny black bodies, their eyes slanted as they closed in for the kill. It had been the last time Luigi had ever seen his brother. Mario had died saving his life, allowing Bowser to finally end up victorious after all those years. But if Mario had died, who was standing in front of him? Was it a clone? A robot, an illusion, a magical construct? Or... Luigi stood at the back end of the warship, with Daisy, Cobal, and the Wario brothers beside him. Opposite them, standing on top of the red pincer-shaped warship, independent in design to the Silver Star's ship, Mario stood, as still as a statue.
"Well, it sure looks like him,"
Wario commented, cracking his knuckles.
"I don't know about you, but I'm aching to."
"No," Luigi said, stopping Wario from moving forward.
"Just leave it to me, okay?"
Wario ground his teeth, but didn't contradict him. Luigi looked straight at the man who seemed so much like his brother. Something was going to happen, he knew, and he felt that it would be more likely bad than good. His heart beat in his chest, like the steady beating of a gong. Luigi took a few steps back. Everything seemed silent around him, even the propellers and the engines. How could he face this? Even if this was only a mockery of what his brother was, how could he fight someone with Mario's face? And what if? What if it wasn't a fraud? What if? Luigi ran towards the edge of the ship, crouching down and going into a long jump. He flew through the cold air, crossing the gap between his ship and the red pursuer. With a loud clank, he landed on the roof of the red ship, 2 meters from Mario. There was a cold, blank look in Mario's blue eyes. The man who looked like his brother tightened his white-gloved hand into a fist. Antonio crossed his arms as the huge screen in the Seven Stars command center focused on the Red Star's ship. His 2 sons, clothed in red and green, stared each other down on the ship's roof. No. He had no sons. Luigi was dead to him, and the man called Mario had died when the Koopa fleet had come down on Toad Town. Now there was only the Red Star, the extension of his will upon the Mushroom World.
"I'm looking forward to the Red Star's first battle test,"
Giovanni remarked from Antonio's right.
"Our spells and elixirs have augmented his strength, so he's 5 times as powerful as he was during his prime. We don't need to worry about power-ups or hammers anymore." "Excellent,"
Antonio replied. His blue eyes were trained on the massive screen.
"My Red Star will white out this resistance and destroy the Dreamstone for good. Nothing will interfere with our plans now."
A hologram of Skulls appeared, who gave Antonio a gentlemanly bow.
"I'm standing by, Grand Star,"
Skulls reported, a smile on his face.
"At the first sign of trouble, I'll intervene. My Blast-O-Matic has already been charged, so it'll only take the push of a button to fire the beam." "Wait on that,"
Antonio ordered.
"I want the Red Star to end this fight. The thought of fighting against Mario should be enough to end the mushroom resistance once and for all."
Luigi's heart beat loudly, sounding like a gong resounding inside his chest. Wind whistled around him, blowing at his hair as he stood on the smooth red surface of the ship, facing off against Mario. A flame ignited over Mario's fist. At some unseen signal, his brother leapt forward. Luigi just managed to dodge Mario's fiery punch. Mario swung his leg around, trying to kick Luigi in the side, but Luigi leapt over it, Mario's foot passing underneath his legs. Luigi had a chance to land a hit on Mario, but he hesitated. This was his brother, or at least someone who looked like him. How could he hurt Mario? As soon as Luigi touched the ground, Mario leapt towards him, attacking him with a flurry of punches. Luigi danced away from Mario's blows, as Mario's fists barely missed his head, gusts of wind seeming to fly by Luigi from the speed of Mario's attacks. Without warning, Mario changed his attack pattern, spinning around and lashing out with his leg, slamming it hard into Luigi's chest. Luigi felt as if he had been hit head-on by a bullet bill. With a cry, he went flying across the ship's roof, landing on his back and sliding across the smooth red surface. Luigi quickly leapt to his feet and turned around so he faced Mario again. A huge globe of fire was growing in Mario's right hand, blinding Luigi with light as if Mario was holding a miniature star. Mario pulled his arm back and hurled the fireball. It went spinning towards Luigi like a meteor. Luigi grit his teeth. He couldn't afford to hold back on this one, he could end up dying. Luigi turned around so his back faced the fireball that was zooming towards him. He felt the heat scorch his back. Crouching down, Luigi went into a backward somersault, clearing the fireball which passed harmlessly underneath him, whizzing harmlessly into the sky. Luigi's feet solidly hit the ground as he turned to face Mario again. Mario's eyes were dead. But in his heart, something had become certain to Luigi. His fighting technique, his strength. This was no clone, no machine, no impersonator. This was the result of years of training, years of journeys to the Koopa Kingdom to rescue Princess Peach, years of battling mad tyrants bent on world domination. Somehow this was Mario himself. Luigi tightened his hands into fists, focusing electricity through them. He didn't feel focused and determined, though, not like in his other battles. He faced the cold, dead eyes of his brother.
Mario. So far, this has been an excellent showcase of abilities,
Giovanni commented, his arms crossed as he stared at the huge screen.
Thanks to the procedures we've done on his body, his skills have not deteriorated even though it's been 20 years since he's fought. It's still not enough,
Antonio replied softly.
Show me more.
For 2 decades, Luigi had done nothing but wish his brother had been alive. He had wished there had been a star or a 1-up nearby at the battle. He had been strong enough to escape from Cammy, strong enough to knock away the bullet bills that had taken his brother's life. He imagined taking one of the legendary wish-granting artifacts and using it to restore Mario to life. Even though he knew that the laws regarding that were vague and that restoring a dead person to life with magic only worked when the person had been dead a very short time. After that, Luigi even imagined traveling to Flipside, making his way to the over there and dragging his brother back to the land of the living. That wouldn't have worked, either. He didn't know how to get to Flipside on his own, and he doubted King Gramby would allow him to restore a person who was truly dead to life. But now Mario was standing right there in front of him. Something had happened to him. These people, with the weird ships and the strange uniforms, had taken his brother and turned him into a weapon. Who were they, and how did they fit into all of this? The lightning flicked around Luigi. Mario's eyes narrowed slightly as fire flared up around him.
Mario.
Luigi called again.
What happened? What?
Mario sprang at Luigi, launching fireballs from his fist. Luigi leapt over the darting flames, vaulting over Mario, who spun around and thrust both his hands out, launching a humongous fireball at Mario. The red-hot blast shone in Luigi's eyes, scorching at his skin. Luigi clutched his hands into fists, focusing hard. He had thought up this move a long time ago and yet he had never had a chance to try it out. But it was now or never. The lightning solidified into the shape of a hammer, and Luigi smacked Mario's fireball with it, making the skies boom with a clash of thunder. Mario casually sidestepped the deflected fireball, and launched flames from his boots, rocketing towards Luigi while pulling back his fire-engulfed fist for a punch. Luigi moved faster. Just as Mario reached him, he channeled lightning through his arm and punched his brother hard in the stomach with a crash of lightning. Mario cried out as he was sent flying across the ship, before he launched fire out of his hands to propel him back and stabilize him.
"You won, beat me!"
Mario cried, zooming towards Luigi, flames trailing behind him.
"Mario!"
Luigi exclaimed, jumping over him and launch a bolt of lightning, which Mario dodged by moving his head slightly to the right. As Luigi landed facing his brother, he said, You spoke?" Was he getting through to him? Luigi didn't dare hope for anything. But if this really was Mario, the brother he had lost for so long, he had to keep hoping.
"You can win this time, Luigi!"
Mario shouted, glaring. More fire flared up around him. But his eyes didn't look quite so icy anymore. Luigi felt a surge of hope, and the lightning flared up around him even more ferociously, dyeing the area with a flickering blue light.
"I'll make you remember, brother,"
Luigi promised.
"It's a Luigi time." "You told me he'd be silent,"
Antonio said, crossing his arms as he watched the fight on the massive screen. The 7 Stars control room was silent, except for the periodic beeping of the control consoles. Giovanni stroked his mustache.
"I suspected the condition would occasionally result in situations like this,"
the blue-clad man said, confidently.
"Don't be alarmed, Antonio." He remembered his brother's name.
Antonio said coldly, his blue eyes intently focused on his 2 tons.
"Not for long,"
Giovanni assured him.
"Once Luigi is dead, he'll fade from his memory. The Red Star was designed to retain memories, only to follow orders. If I don't stop him now, he'll never be free."
With that thought in mind, Luigi rushed at Mario. He built up lightning within his body until his clothes began to smoke, before he leapt towards his brother. Mario ducked underneath the punch, following it with an uppercut that sent Luigi flying through the air. A burning pain rushed through Luigi's jaw and he felt as if his entire skull had shattered. Mario charged a fireball, the orange glow shining around him, but Luigi, still in the air, recovered and sent down a torrent of lightning, striking Mario many times and causing him to lose his focus. As soon as Luigi hit the ground, he struck Mario with punch to the face followed by another in the chest, lightning booming around him. Mario staggered back, but assaulted Luigi with a storm of fiery punches, his glowing fists moving so fast they looked like balls of light. Luigi ducked under, leapt over, sidestepped blow after blow, coming in with his own which Mario blocked, using combat skills of the like he hadn't seen for years. Blue and orange flashes rang through the air as the brothers traded blows. Luigi struck Mario's cheek, Mario followed up by driving his fist into Luigi's shoulder, before Luigi, staggering back, drove all his power into a lightning-charged kick that blasted Mario back.
"You won, win, Luigi!"
Mario shouted.
"I've beat you before, and this time, You don't have your fancy brobot.
Brobot. That word brought back repressed memories, memories of an undeniably dark time he had been placed under the enemy's mind control. But that wasn't what Luigi was thinking about right now. Mario remembered an old adventure of his. He remembered the first time they had fought against each other, a time where he had risked life and limb to save all dimensions from complete destruction. Things were coming back.
I know what you're feeling, Mario,
Luigi said, narrowing his eyes and charging lightning through his body.
I know what it's like to have a villain take control over you. But you can break out, Mario. I believe in you, bro. This isn't good,
Antonio hissed, turning to Giovanni.
He wasn't supposed to remember any of his past.
Giovanni stroked his mustache with his mechanical hand.
The mind is a strange thing, Antonio. Even our simulations couldn't predict everything. Rest assured, he is still your red star.
Antonio crossed his arms.
He better wrap up this fight soon,
he mused.
I don't like where this is going. I am gonna take you down,
Mario exclaimed, pulling back his hands and charging up fire in each of them, before thrusting them forward and launching two massive gusts of fire which spiraled around each other, melting the hull of the ship as it passed over it, scorching Luigi's skin as it spun towards him. Luigi crouched down and sprang into the air, the blindingly hot flames passing underneath him. Luigi condensed his lightning into the shape of a hammer again, grabbing it with both hands and raising it above his head as he fell down towards Mario, preparing to bring it down upon his brother with all his might. Mario leapt into the air, going into a roundhouse kick that swept flames around his body, intercepting Luigi before he could land his strike, knocking him back far across the ship. Luigi felt all the air leave his body as he fell down hard on the red hull. But only a moment passed before he was up again, staring at Mario who was slowly advancing towards him.
I'm going to bring you back, Mario,
Luigi said resolutely, tightening his hand into a fist and pouring all of his power into it. He found his fist grow hot as a blindingly blue glow of lightning focused around it.
Let's do this,
Mario shouted, focusing fire into his fist which shone on the metallic hull, glowing as bright as a star. The two brothers rushed to each other, leaping forward as they both brought their fists back. They met in a colossal boom that rang through the air, the humongous explosion of fire and lightning dyeing the sky blue and orange. The Seven Stars ship shook as the force of energy blasted the water below them back in a gigantic splash. The Mario brothers faced each other, sweating and covered in soot. Every bit of Luigi's body was in pain, and he was panting, out of breath. Mario grit his teeth, taking a step forward. His arm aching, Luigi raised it up, painfully clenching his fingers into a fist.
Why? You're the Mushroom Kingdom's hero, brother,
Luigi gasped with effort.
You might not remember, but I'll show you. Because I'm your brother, Mario. And I've missed you so much.
Luigi focused all his strength into his battered body, leaping forward with a final burst he knew would deplete the last of his energy. His fist slammed into Mario's face with a sound that seemed to echo around. Mario's blue eyes blinked, and he looked at his brother with a warmth that Luigi had not seen for what seemed like millennia.
Bro.
Then he collapsed into Luigi's arms. Luigi held him tight, as he stood on the hull of the ship which was streaked with scorch marks and melted metal. Lifting his brother onto his shoulders, Luigi ran to the edge of the hull, leaping into a long jump that would take him back to his own vessel. As he cleared the gap, Luigi's heart seemed to soar despite the pain and exhaustion he had felt. Mario had returned to life. His brother was back. Skull smiled dryly as he leaned back on his command chair on the red-tinted bridge of the Seven Stars ship.
My, I told Giovanni that Mario's willpower was far too strong for him to be our pawn for long.
He glanced down at the control consoles his crew were dutifully manning.
Fire the blast-o-matic,
he ordered smugly.
I'll finish this.
As Luigi's feet hit the wooden deck of his warship, he saw the main cannon of the enemy ship light up with a blinding blue light. He turned, his eyes widening with horror. There was no way he could avoid this. After he had finally got Mario back, he had. Mario opened his eyes a slit. Groaning weakly, he raised his hand and pointed at the glowing cannon, focusing a small ball on condensed fire. It was a swift move. A small laser of condensed fire shot from Mario's finger, disappearing within the barrel of the cannon. All of a sudden the cannon exploded, sending blasts ripping through the ship's bottom and obliterating its engines, suddenly causing it to tilt to its side and begin to sink, fires breaking out all over its hull. Mario collapsed onto the deck. As Luigi looked down on his brother, sighing with relief, he saw that Mario was smiling. Antonio turned away in anger with a swish of his long coat, as the huge screen behind him showed the red warship sinking into the water, covered in flames.
Antonio!
Giovanni called out, but Antonio did not listen. He strode away from the control room out the door, which shut with a hiss. This was a setback he couldn't tolerate. The Red Star, who had intended to be the extension of his will, the hammer of his justice, had been defeated. If Mario had been any true son of his, he would have been able to deny his emotions and commit himself to duty, but he had failed, and prevented Skulls from finishing the job as well. His younger son Luigi had gotten away with the Dream Stone, something which could massively disrupt Seven Stars' plan. For the first time in decades, Antonio felt concerned. There was no need to panic, Antonio thought as he strode through the dark metallic corridor, his heavy footsteps echoing through the hallway. He still had his army and his fleet. And he was still the most powerful fighter in the world, someone whose power surpassed both his sons and any of the Koopas. And he had his most powerful ally. As Antonio walked, he began to feel cold as the darkness of the corridor grew thicker, as tiny pinpricks of light, like tiny stars, floated past him. Slowly, as Antonio continued to walk, a woman appeared before him, a tall woman with pale blonde hair in a pale blue dress.
I am approaching, Antonio,
she said, in a calm voice.
The Comet Observatory will reach the Mushroom World in a matter of days. Excellent.
Antonio nodded.
Keep watch on things. When all of the sides meet and everything reaches their peak, I want you to begin the starfall.
Rosalina nodded. She looked sad.
I once loved this world, Antonio,
she admitted. The tiny stars floated past her as if they were moving through space.
But you've shown me the truth. As long as the power of the stars exists, as long as there are people with drive and ambition, destruction will always occur. I'll destroy the Star Children and those who they've touched, I'll eliminate the power of magic and of power-ups, before I smite Star Haven and remove the power of wishes from the universe. Only when all are equal and all who have the power to rise above the others are dead, there will be peace. Indeed.
Antonio smiled.
I eagerly await your arrival, Rosalina. Together, we will bring light to this shattered world. A final end and a new beginning.